Good morning folks, welcome back to a new video. It's Monday and I'm in the yard. Looks to have been raining overnight, but the sun is coming through. I've actually been away from the yard all weekend. I was over in Bankery on Friday night to Alan's rally just to help out there and support him. He got on fine until I believe the second last stage. So we're just currently in the process of getting the driveway done. Aaron and Joe pulled the short straw of digging the holes whilst we try and get the rest of this gravel in. We've got one load of gravel. This is all I'm probably going to be able to get today. Challenging part is this curbs. This is the old curb from the old road. It's obviously been resurfaced, but yeah, we've landed right on top of it. So, it is what it is. We're getting through it. Just having the right tools for the job. Breaker still so, get the holes where they need to be. But it's hot and humid, feeling for the guys. Folks, welcome back to a new video. It's Monday and I'm in the yard. Looks to have been raining overnight, but the sun is coming through and it feels quite mild. I've actually been away from the yard all weekend. I was over in Bankery on Friday night to Alan's rally just to help out there and support him. He got on fine until I believe the second last stage and hit a boulder. Yeah, it basically retired them. So we were over there on Friday and then through Saturday, and then yesterday I refrained myself from coming to the yard, for better or for worse, because sometimes it is better just coming in and catching up, but Sunday's the sort of day I usually try and spend on myself. I used to waste Sundays so often, but now I've got a bit of a routine of what I do. I end up going to the gym, usually the sauna, then try and catch up with my mates and stuff. Just have a bit of a reset day, because it is important. But there's nothing wrong with working weekends, in my opinion. If you're working towards a goal and you want something, that extra output is important and it does help. So the guys will be coming in shortly and we'll get ready to go start a new week. So it's a little bit further on in the day now. Just loading up the tipping trailer. The guys filled it of material on Friday, but I obviously had to leave to go to the rally, so we parked it up. And I'm now going to go and tip it. I'm also going to go and grab some topsoil while I'm there for the job that we're on at the moment. So Mole and Aaron are up there just now cracking on with the fencing. Dav and Damien are finishing off the ranch style fence that we did last week. They're just building a gate and hanging the other one. Jake has started a new job in Nethy, so we've taken the digger out there, a new driveway. There will be a new small ranch style fence similar to the one the guys have done, but instead of 4 there'll be 3 rails. So that's another project we started today. Kyle and Joe are out cutting grass, doing the regulars. So it is a busy start to Monday. I'm just topping up with some holy energy. We've got the Raspberry Raptor. If you didn't know, holy is a healthy alternative to your sort of energy drinks. You have hydration, you can get your electrolytes with this one. Electrolytes and minerals, and then also you've got energy, which is a more sort of healthy alternative than like your Red Bull and that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you know, you know. If you want to try it, use code BENM at checkout to get 10% off. One thing I've realised about taking the weekend off and not actually being in the yard is I'm a bit more energised and motivated to come back to work and to get going again and have a bit more mojo about me, believe it or not. And I guess that is the power of taking a break even when you almost feel like you don't want to, because often, more than not, it is more detrimental to take some time off because you feel like you've got that much to do, and to take time off is jeopardising things. And whereas that is true in certain elements, it is also important. So yeah, it's Monday, it's a new week. We've got jobs finishing, jobs starting, jobs in the pipeline. We're in August already. It's just crazy to say that. And yeah, gratefully busy. Now with Gillian being off at the moment, she is off for another week. There's a few things that I've needed to sort of pick up on, and just be in the office a little bit more. I haven't been in as much as I'd like to be. There's just projects to push on with and try and get finished. So, and yeah, most importantly, just trying to get money into the account and keep the cash flow going. I had a VAT bill that I paid on Friday. It's actually a day overdue. I forgot. Again, this me slacking with Gillian being off. It was due on the Thursday, so hopefully we don't have a very late penalty, or a big penalty. It was a day late, but they still charge you if you're late for your deadline. So that VAT bill was £13,500. Again, that VAT is not yours. We do pretty well to fire the money into a different account now. I have got a lot better at that sort of stuff. As soon as invoices come in, we put that 20%, we put all that VAT money into a separate account to try and build up a bit of a reserve for when these payments come out. So yeah, financially this year it has been a good year. We are in great profits. Obviously we've done a lot of investing this year again. Although we are in profit, doesn't mean we see all of that money. What that means is we're going to have to pay quite a significant amount of tax next year, unless I do some serious investing. Now this is, I guess, the loophole that people get into with business, and this is what maybe we've done in the past, because we haven't really paid tax that much in the past, just because we've invested that much money in the last few years. It's purely been as that we haven't been making a profit as such, because we've been investing in assets which has offset the tax. But this year we have, you almost get to a point where you've got everything you kind of need, so anything else is either you're renewing things or you're just getting things for the sake of making your life easier. So we are going to have a big tax bill next year. It's just something to be mindful of, and something that, we need to prepare for. But again, what often people do is they go and invest in something to offset that tax, but then that also just keeps you running in that circle of buying, paying off, finance, not really ever having much money because you haven't paid the tax. So sometimes, in my understanding, is that it's good to pay a bit of tax rather than constantly reinvesting and buying more kit and machinery. And it seems like the logical thing to do, and in certain elements it is, absolutely, especially if you need something. But I guess you also need to be in a healthy position with your bank account too. Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday. We are in the new office. Last night I came up and I started moving some stuff over here. What was holding us back was getting the Wi-Fi from that office into this office. We are with Starlink. We've got Starlink on, we've had Starlink for a couple months now, and it's been a game changer. But because this is a container, the actual Wi-Fi signal, it blocks out like everything. So right now I'm just using my old O2 Netgear dongle thing. So we have got some internet. We also need to dig the duct from the office to the big shed for when we get CCTV. Right now we've got Ring cameras around the yard, which are adequate enough just now, but I want something a bit more substantial, longer lasting, alarms, etc. just to try and counter any unwanted guests and visitors. But I won't lie, it's quite nice to be in the office in my new chair. I'll show you where I'm at just now. Now, excuse the mess, I'm still, I was throwing things together yesterday. I built this bed ages ago for dogs, for a dog bed, and it's been sat in the yard for ages because I just haven't done anything with it, nobody's wanted it. But I thought that's quite a nice feature. I cut a bit of AstroTurf down here, tacked as a bit of a rug, just quite tying in. Got the computer set up. I've just got in touch with a company about doing a neon sign there. I'm going to get the M logo. I believe maybe just the logo, the M. I'm probably going to get a TV up here. Whether that's going to have the CCTV stuff on it or not. I might also get a wee monitor up there just so I can see the cameras, etc. Free couch that my mother has kindly came and refurbished. It was pretty stained. It lived in a garage, so she's done a great job in getting that back to a usable state. And yeah, it's just quite nice to be in a different environment, slightly bigger, more comfortable. Really like the desk. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it before, but it just feels good, feels proper, and the chair makes a big difference compared to being in that office. You're just a bit crammed. So once I've got this all set up and singing and dancing the way I want it, I will focus on trying to get Gillian's office a bit more revamped. Might take the desk that we've put in there away. We made that desk just out of MDF. So we'll maybe revamp that office a little bit more to be a bit more enjoyable for Gillian to be in. So, but yeah, glad to be in here. It's just a nice little setup for me. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I need to do and get sort of storage and filing cabinets and that, but I personally don't want to have much of that. That'll be in the main office, Gillian's office. This is my kind of space to come and do what I am supposed to do, and price jobs, emails, etc. Socialise, bring... I can imagine my pals will be in here at night annoying me when I'm trying to work or do something. But yeah, it's finally come together. It feels like forever we've had it. It's still not finished. There's still some bits to do to it, and wiring to run. Put some sockets maybe down the bottom end because there's not any power down there, and some just general decorating. As you can see, I've got some hats that are in the old office. I do like collecting hats. So if anyone has got a hat with their company name on it, or a brand, if you want to go on the feature wall, we have got Still, Palanque, yes, Trillo, Toro, AS Motors, ILH Ground Care and Machinery, J-Rock Grounds Maintenance, Flat Out Flat Broke, Lawn Care Legends, Hansa, Husqvarna, Williamson Groundworks, Ferris, DSA Gardening, and Arians. So far, I have got some more hats over there, I'm sure. There's an Eagle one there. But yeah, need to make this a bit more of a warming environment. But this is what I couldn't ask for anything sort of better, to be fair. This is the sort of idea I wanted. I wanted the sort of rustic, but slightly, I don't know, modern look. I do like that approach, and this feature walls came out really nice. I'm glad I did that. So with a nice neon sign up there, I think it'll be pretty cool. Anyway, just got a couple of invoices out for the latest jobs that we've done, which is always good. Trying to keep that cash flow coming in. 2 teams are out cutting grass today. Damien and Aaron are out, and Kyle and Joe again, getting through the routine grass cuts. Jake and Mole are up at the fence job, just getting that finished off. They're hanging a gate, they're ripping a board to fit, and then they're spreading a little bit of soil to get some seed down in where the hedge got taken out. So that's a complete transformation, that job. It's been pretty cool to see how big a garden that she's got, and she's been delighted. So one thing I always look forward to is the whole sort of before and after photos, and at the end of the job. I'm big on getting these things out on social media, and we always put transformations out there, and if you aren't doing that, it is something that you need to be doing. Who's phoning me? Right folks, it is later on in the evening now, maybe 8:15. Didn't really give much context there before I got the trailer. Was kind of a last minute thing. and I'll explain. So I'd been toying with replacing the trailers for a while now. It becomes a point in time where they start to need so much work in terms of doing the brakes, and then they need tires, and the bulbs go, and wiring, stuff like that. They weren't really old trailers by all means, but for the sake of trading it in against getting a new one that is all singing, all dancing, is perfectly legal, tire depth, brakes, everything's legal on it. You don't necessarily have to worry about it for 3 to 4 years. Obviously some routine maintenance on the trailers is important, just to maintain them and make sure they're greased and working properly. But I'm very much a believer in sending the guys out with the right kit and stuff that's not going to cost them their license or cost them points on their license, or stuff that's not safe. I've got a conscience. I know a lot of businesses don't really care about that sort of stuff, but for me personally, to send the guys out there with a trailer that's maybe got, a bulb out or something, or the treads sort of down to the limit, these things that I don't intentionally run with, but sometimes it becomes to that point where you need to get the trailer booked in to get it serviced and what have you, and you just haven't really done it. So trying to keep things renewed and fresh and reliable is something that I'm quite big on. There's a significant cost in doing that, but it's an investment and I feel like it's important. We use that plant trailer and the tipping trailer all the time, and oftentimes the guys have it hooked on. I'm not so much worried about myself. Obviously I don't want to be running around with an unsafe trailer, by all means, not what I'm saying, but just like say a bulb going out in the trailer that you haven't addressed, the guys go out and tow it and then they get pulled over and then they get points and what have you, or a fine, or penalised for something that I am responsible for as the business owner. You see where I'm coming from. We have 3 trailers there. We had 3 trailers. We had the tilt bed, the plant trailer and the tipper trailer. Now the tilt bed I bought a few years ago now, 2-3 years ago, must be 3 years ago, and it was a great thing. We towed it behind our Transit. It used to carry all the mowers. Really great piece of machinery. Since we got the beaver tails, we haven't had to use them as much, the trailers as much, but there is still a place for them. So that tilt bed has sat there most of the year and done nothing, and last year. I mind it just took up space in my driveway, and I always toyed about trading it in or selling it. I did have it up for sale for a while, but it just didn't come to anything. So because that was sitting there, the plant trailer was getting a little bit tired. It was going to need tires soon and a service. Brakes weren't the greatest, and also the tipping trailer, it works hard, really hard, that trailer. Again, hard worked, quite tired. Was going to start needing new tires, probably serviced again, etc. I think one of the bulb went out. Again, these are minor things, but a few people messaged me on my Instagram saying what's the reason for swapping them, and I guess this is why I'm trying to tell you guys the reason being. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's essentially nothing wrong with those trailers. I could go and put them through a service and get them fixed and keep them going, but instead of throwing the money into that, which isn't really going to change the value of it, trade it in against something new and I don't have to worry about it. So I've traded the tilt bed. So basically what I did is I traded the tilt bed, the plant trailer and the tipping trailer, which will be going on Friday or Thursday, against a new tipping trailer, identical to the one that we've got, 12-foot high sides, identical to the one we've got, and then also just bought that plant trailer today. So traded in the 3 and we're getting 2 new ones. Yes, we're coming into the time of year now where winter is around the corner. Really need to focus on building that cash reserve up. A lot of the times your hands are tied, and it was more economical to make that investment now rather than fix up the trailers and see them going through another year. I've made that investment now and I don't have to worry about those for the next 3-4 years, where I probably will trade it in again and renew that. In the meantime, again, like I said, routine maintenance, etc. And the fact that I had the trailers to offset the new ones means it wasn't as much of a financial blow, just trading it in against the new one plus the additional. So, but I am excited, to be honest, because I've only ever bought one new trailer, and that was the I4Williams P8E, second trailer I ever bought. Mum and Dad took me up to Inverness to pick it up because I couldn't drive at the time. Yeah, cracking trailer, single axle, mesh sides. I was over the moon with that. And since then I haven't bought myself a new trailer. It's always been second-hand ones because it's all I could afford. So it's quite nice to get something new, look after it from new. Going to get some signs put on it as well. Something I didn't do with the old one purely just because it was, well, I never really got around to doing it, to be honest, but this one I definitely will because we've got it again from new. Making that investment now, I'm going to have that signage there for the next 3-4 years. So yeah, just thought I'd jump on there and explain my trailer palaver, which a lot of you will not really give a flying toss about, whilst I'm out in this lovely humid evening walking the dogs. And I hope nobody is around because they'll think I'm speaking to myself, which essentially I am. The team all got on fine today. We'll be grass cutting again tomorrow at Tormore, doing the fortnightly grass cut there, whilst also doing some extra additional work at the warehouses, etc. So we had Tormore day, and then Thursday and Friday Kyle will be going back there to start planting the heathers that we've been waiting for a while. They only came in Thursday last week, so once we get the green light for that, we should hopefully be at Tormore getting some plants in the ground, amongst the other projects that we've got on the go at the moment. I'm going to stop rambling because I know a lot of you don't like me speaking, so I'll see you tomorrow. Hey pal, go on in. Folks, it is Thursday. We've just stopped in by Alvey to get a load of topsoil from Colin. Thank you very much, Colin. Heading back to Netty now, where we are carrying on with a project that started earlier this week. Don't think I've showed much action there, but we've been digging out the driveway. The guys are going to start digging the posts today as well, and there's a bit of soil to go in for a new grass area. So Kyle, Dav and Ed are off today, so we've got the rest of the team out at the job just to try and push on with it. It's another hot day. It's going to be really warm later. Yesterday was just horrendous. Don't want to complain about the heat, but I struggle in the heat and a lot of the guys do as well, so especially when you're doing something physical. But yeah, we'll head back to the job and see how they are getting on. You don't actually, it doesn't take the whole for you. That should be okay, as long as I just don't want it to creep too much onto the road.
Doesn't work for me. Loving life. Absolutely loving it.
Dude, just text me. Don't come back especially for me. Perfect. Spot on, man. Cheers. So we're just currently in the process of getting the driveway done. Aaron and Joe pulled the short straw of digging the holes whilst we try and get the rest of this gravel in. We've got one load of gravel. This is all I'm probably going to be able to get today. New driveway, new sort of soiled area over there, and then there's going to be a new small ranch style fence, 1 metre high, probably about 3 rails, going along here.
What's the challenging part about this one, boy?
Challenging part is its curbs. This is the old curb from the old road. It's obviously been resurfaced, and yeah, we've landed right on top of it. So it is what it is. We're getting through it. Just having the right tools for the job. Breaker still, so get the holes where they need to be. But it's hot and humid, and then yeah, feeling for the guys. Hi, mate. Yeah, we'll just carry you. Yeah, carry your line on from there.
Professor!
Right, Jake, I can't see, I feel stupid.
Hello folks, it is Friday and we have just picked up the new trailer. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, the trailers were all getting traded in, and we've got a new plant trailer at the start of the week, and I've just picked up the new tipping trailer. Absolutely identical to the one we already had, 12 foot solid side extensions, but newer. Now the one we had was 5 years old, and when I bought it, it was second hand. Since I've had it, that trailer has shifted hundreds and hundreds, I'd say thousands, maybe not thousands, but a lot of tons of material, and it's been an asset. However, it was just getting that little bit tireder. The pump was starting to go a little bit, and one thing that really annoyed me was the fact that the battery on the trailer didn't charge itself, so it didn't have the trickle charge system set up that this trailer does, and most trailers do now. So we were constantly having to charge it up, and we'd been caught out a few times with it. It had lost charge, and we had to hand pump it up or like shovel off the back, and just wasn't ideal. Trivial things. It was a great trailer, you know, but just wanted to sort of refresh it. All the trailers were getting quite old and requiring work and new tyres and brakes, and the time you go into servicing, you're going to be in the best part of £1,000, so it made sense to trade them in and get a new one. If you're wondering how much that trailer costs, that is a 12 foot Ifer Williams, the high sides, all singing and dancing. That trailer is now £8,500 plus VAT. That's over 10 grand for a trailer. Now obviously I haven't parted way with 10 grand of cash because we've used our trailers as collateral, so it's not just a 10 grand blow like that. There is a significant cost in these trailers, and it's just highlighting again the cost of things nowadays is crazy. So your prices have got to reflect that. I still often hear it like, oh, you're quite expensive, or I hear it coming back to me like quite expensive, like the sort of money you charge and all that. Your pricing's quite high, blah blah blah. It has to be. Define high. Everything else is going up and the income is not matching, and that's just something that's unfortunate. But I get quite a lot of messages from people that ask me about pricing and how they do it, and they feel like they're charging too much, or they're not charging enough, or they get told they're too expensive. I've been there, I'm still there, fair, and it is hard. It is always a difficult thing to address and just to get right, because, you know, at one end of the scale, you're trying to create a business, you're trying to run a business and be as profitable as you can, whilst also being fair and not creating a bad name for yourself, essentially. The one thing to consider is, like, how busy are you? Just because one person says you're too expensive, what about all the other customers that you service? Just these little things you've just got to consider. It's easy to get disheartened when one person or a couple of people, a handful of people say, oh wow, you're quite expensive. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think things are expensive, but I'm the one running this business. I know how much it costs to run this business. Well, maybe not exactly, it's probably something I should sharpen up on, is knowing my numbers, but the significant cost it takes to run and operate and grow a business, you've got to consider that. It is not your responsibility for your customers to be able to afford your services. That being said, if you're charging way too much and it's ridiculous and you are ultimately taking the piss, that is your responsibility, and you've got to find that happy medium, and you've got to find that sort of maximum point of where you're making good money, the business is making good money, allowing you to reinvest and grow and develop your staff and your training, etc., whilst also being somewhat affordable to customers, but not everyone. If everyone can afford your services, chances are you're not charging enough. Kyle's back today. He is out with Joe at a new project that we are going to be starting next week, but they're just getting the site sort of ready. There's quite a lot of overgrowth and stuff that needs to be dealt with before we go in and, yeah, essentially landscape it. So they're doing that. Jake, Damien, Mo and Aaron back at the driveway and fencing job that we've got on at the moment. We had the chips delivered by Gary this morning in the wee lorry, and I delivered a load of soil in the morning before heading up to get the new trailer, and then on my way back I've just picked up a load of soil. So within an hour of picking up the trailer, or an hour and a half, it has been christened and it is back to getting used. One thing I'm mindful of is the amount of work that I've been doing with this vehicle. This is on 18,928 miles, and that is since December. That is 8 months. It has done a lot of work, probably too much work for what it is. A lot of my time has been spent running materials in and out of jobs, and that is something that I need to then delegate to someone else, because if all my time is spent doing this, then I'm not working in different areas of the business. Been listening to, or I have listened to it. I'm just listening through it again, just to try and pick up on points sometimes. So it's a book by Dan Martell, and it's Buy Back Your Time, and it's all about delegating tasks to people who thrive in that area rather than you doing everything, hiring to buy back your time rather than to grow your business. It's a very interesting book. It's full of a lot of useful information. It's totally sort of opened my mind up to it, and what it does is it sort of helps you break that mental barrier and mindset of, like, one, as a business owner, I need to do everything myself. No one can do it as good as me. Nobody cares. If I don't do it myself, it's never going to get done right. Blah blah blah. All these sort of mental barriers that you have at the start of business, or most people will have as they start their journey in business. And I had them too, and I still have them, but nowhere near as much. It's a question I was asked in the Q&A, but what has been the biggest factor in growing your business? And amongst all the other stuff of hard work and, investing and being out my comfort zone and yada yada, doing a good job, ultimately delegating has allowed me to do that. I never used to hire, or haven't hired, to buy back my time, essentially, that this book is all about. I haven't hired in that sense. I've hired to grow. I have bought back my time in a sense that, one, the grass cutting and that sort of stuff, I don't do any of that anymore. I haven't done grass cutting in a long while. I think I've been out once or twice this season. So that has been delegated, and that's something that I used to do all the time. I used to do all the ride-on mowing. I used to make sure the job was great, the quality was all there. I was on site and it was always me with someone else. But over time, it's something that I've delegated, and I've employed people to come in and do that. First of all, coming and working with me on site, understanding how I work, understanding the quality and everything that we like to uphold, but then also saying, you guys go out and do that. And that was a very uncomfortable part for me, to go and say, right, well, I'm going to let you go out with a £20,000 machine, a van, tools, etc., and go and do the work that I have done and put my name to for a number of years by myself as I've grown this business to where it is today. So again, that was quite an uncomfortable part for me, but it was necessary, because not that it's always smooth sailing and not that it's always perfect and stuff. There's always, areas we need to improve, or bits that need to be missed, or quality we need to sort of drill into the guys. But overall, the grass cutting has been a great success. What that has allowed me to do has changed my focus from grass cutting and the maintenance to growing the landscaping side of things, which takes a bit more thought because there's a lot involved in doing so. Subconsciously, my mind and my attention has came away from that, and it's something that I want to go back to and address and try and grow that sort of side of the business again, because I very much believe that the reoccurring income is necessary. It's easy money, you know what you're getting, it's repetitive, so you're doing the same thing every time, you can get good at it. Landscaping is great, you can make good money in landscaping, but ultimately a lot of it is custom. It's custom tailored to each job. Variations and things change and things can go wrong. Trying to maintain that sort of level of reoccurring income, regular work that will allow us to comfortably employ people rather than working job to job to job to job, which is possible and is doable. That reoccurring regular work is important, and it has also led to a lot of landscaping projects. I think the two complement each other really well. Some people say, oh well, I'm not going to do maintenance anymore, I'm going to bin off the grass cutting, I just want to do landscaping, or I'm going to bin off the landscaping and I'm just going to do grass cutting. It really depends what you want from your business, but I feel like if you are trying to grow a business, a landscaping business, the two go hand in hand together. One, you either landscape a garden and then you get the job of maintaining it going forward, or two, you start off by maintaining elements of the garden, i.e. cutting the grass, the hedges, etc., and then different areas of the garden over time are asked to be landscaped, or the client has asked you, can we build a new fence, or can we do this, etc. So trying to get as much out of your customers as possible, the customers that you already have, is something that we have been trying to do more this year, building better relationships with the customers we've already got, also just bringing more value to them. What can we do? What problems can we solve for that customer, rather than just cutting their grass or doing X, Y, and Z. If you can be a bit more of an all-rounded service for someone, they are going to value that more than having to deal with Tom, Dick and Harry. I need to get in touch with him to do my hedges, and then I need to get in touch with her to do my grass cutting, and then to build a fence I need to get in touch with another person. If you can build that relationship with the customer, that they trust you and they appreciate and value that the work that you do, and they're happy with the work that you do, that can go hand in hand with the growth of your business and building a reputation and getting good reviews and good feedback and good recommendations. It's something that I have now seen value in since doing it. Again, going back to the sort of best and worst thing in business is people that can ruin your day and ruin your week if you let them. It can be a nightmare to deal with people sometimes, but on the flip side of that, when you get a customer that is absolutely amazing, they're no hassle, they appreciate what you do, see value in what you do, you want to go above and beyond for them, and when you see the appreciation on their face at the end of a job, or when you've helped them, or when you've done something for them, when you've provided value and a service to them, it's no better feeling in my opinion. Very much trying to build a more all-round service. It's not just about the service that you do on the ground and the quality of job that you do. It's the whole round customer experience that defines a business. From the moment they pick up the phone or they email you, all that stuff is really important. There's too many people out there that don't get back to the customers. They're too busy working in their business rather than on their business. Been there, done that, still doing it, but I'm very mindful of it, and it's something that we are working towards and getting better at. We're not perfect, I don't really believe in perfect, but there's always room to improve, and having that open-mindedness and self-awareness, I guess, is important, because if you think you've got it all sussed and you're the creme de la creme and there's no room for improvement, then you've already lost. Every day is a school day, there's always something to improve. So just a few things that I've unlocked in my journey of business development, personal development. I am really interested in that since starting that and seeing the benefits of it and unlocking new beliefs and knowledge and a new mindset. It has significantly increased my growth in business and in life. Again, nowhere near where I want to be, but that is not the point. You set that target, you set the goalposts, and you work towards them. Not trying to sound cheesy or that, but I feel grateful that I have unlocked these things, and I see value in trying to look after my health and my well-being and grow as a person and grow as a business. I think so many people are stuck in their ways and they see the negative in everything, and life's hard and life's tough. The ultimate answer is life is hard and it is tough. It's not meant to be easy. It wasn't meant to be a walk in the park. So if you flip that mindset, stop playing the victim, life ultimately gets a good bit easier. But what do I know? I'm just 23 years old, and that was another lovely customer that I just drove past for a recent job we done a couple months ago. Just a little bit of Friday reflection as we drive back to the project with a load of topsoil to go into the job. We'll go and see how the guys are getting on. Much cooler Friday afternoon. Yesterday was that tad bit too hot. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Turn the isolator switch on. The isolator switch.
Right, good to go.
Look at that! I used to look alright in the digger, I'm gonna look shit now that he's here. Jake, you can do it. No, you're fine, like, judging me. How are we getting on, Chief?
Chief? Aye, good.
Progress?
Yeah, the majority of the posts are in.
Okay.
The majority of the chips are down.
How much more do we need?
Like a ton.